Hello again, welcome. Today we're going to be looking at our third grade picks, the things we're doing this year for third grade. It's kind of chaos, so hopefully you get something from this. If you have any questions, let me know. Without further ado, let's get started. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. My name is Crystal with Rose Menagerie. I homeschool my two third grade boys, and these are our choices that we made for this year. It's a lot. I apologize in advance. Hopefully it's helpful to you in some way. And like I said before, if you have any questions, let me know and I will be glad to answer them for you. Okay, so a little background before I show you everything. Okay, sorry, I have a table in my way. I have a background in teaching. I taught first grade and third grade at a charter school a very long time ago, as in those kids are now graduated or are in college or are married or have babies. Like, let's not even think about it, honestly. I don't want to think about it. But so I do have a background in education. I have a degree in curriculum and instruction, and so curriculum, as hard as it is to say, is my jam. I'm obsessed with it. I just, like, I'm already planning the boys' 4th and 5th grade years. I just really enjoy it. Like, that's where I get super nerdy. So all that to say, the options that I have thought of them a lot, and I've thought through them all. However, just like with anything, we could pivot, who knows. I'm not saying this is what you should do, this is just what we're doing. My philosophy of education is my boys, we want them to be good people. We want them to follow the Lord, and we want them to just do the best that they can in everything that they do. So they may not be the best, they may not, you know, we don't have aspirations of them being like famous athletes or whatever, like, but whatever it is that they do it with their whole being, the best they can for the glory of the Lord, and we're happy with that. So that being said, the things that I have are things that I enjoyed as a kid, the things that I think would be that they would enjoy, but I also just think they're important just for my background in education. Like I said, not right or wrong, it's just how it is. And yeah, and I do have kitty cats joining me, so you might hear them. So I'll show you. I don't really know how it's gonna go, so hopefully it goes quick, but I have everything around me. It's kind of daunting. We'll get through it together. So when I plan based off of what I've done in the past with Peaceful Press, which if you haven't heard of that curriculum, I would totally encourage you to check it out. I'll put a link below for it. Her curriculums are wonderful. They are Charlotte Mason inspired. So if that's kind of where you lean with education, like how you want your kids to be taught, be right up your alley. But essentially it's just, you learn a lot with books, and then, you know, you have Bible. She has copy work in there. There is obviously you're reading a text of some sort. Like last year we did C.S. Lewis's Narnia series. The year before that we did Little House on the Prairie. So those are kind of the spine, what you call it. And then she has the copy work. She has the Bible. She'll have a science and social studies component with it too. You are supposed to just supplement with your own math. That's what I've done in the past. And this year we are doing in the same vein, but with me being the one planning it, if that makes sense. So I use that as my framework, and then I just found things and plugged them in. And let me go ahead and show you real quick. If you haven't seen my other video, this is my planner for the year. And I'm kind of doing it backward planning to where, like, I have everything planned, but I'm writing in my planner when we complete stuff. And I'm liking the way that's going so far. I'm adding pictures, it's real cute. But let me kind of give you an idea of how I go ahead and plan my year here. Let me try to find a page I've written all over already. Okay, this will work. Okay, so I was apprehensive about using a planner because I am a throw it in a table girl, print it out, ever since I taught in the classroom even, and I would just check things off as I did them. It didn't have to be pretty, it just had to be done, okay? So that's kind of how I plan, is I just make a table, and you may not be able to see it so well, but across the top are the days that we're learning. We do a 4-day week, and it says day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, because sometimes, like today, we have a whole long day of field trip, and we have to shift. So instead of doing, you know, I think today's Tuesday, I don't even know. Instead of doing day 2 today, we will do day 2 on Wednesday, even though Wednesday's the 3rd day of the week, just because we tried to do it in the car, it didn't work out. So tomorrow will be day 2. And then along this side of my table is where I have all of my curriculum, or like subjects, if you will. I apologize if the lighting is bad. I just realized that, but it is what it is. Okay. So our main areas that we have are Bible, reading, handwriting, typing, and vocabulary, or like word studying, math, science, social studies, fine arts, and then we also have independent reading this year. And our day, literally, we just kind of flow. We get up, we get going, we start, we just do things as we can, and then we try to take breaks in between, because I have two boys, and so they need breaks, or we'll work at the table for a little bit, then we'll go to the floor. It kind of just depends on what it is we're doing. Sorry, kitties. So anyway, we just kind of go with the flow throughout the day, stopping when we need to. Our days are long most of the time. A lot of it comes down to also just, you know, I let them be kids, and so sometimes we just get sidetracked, and that's just how it is. But anyway, so what are we doing? We'll start with Bible. This year for Bible, we are using The Biggest Story. So, there you go. The Biggest Story Bible. It is like story based, so they choose chapters and they write a story about it, but every story points you to Jesus. And what we do, there are these lesson books, like right now we're in the Pentateuch, which is stories 1 through 20, and it literally just breaks down what you're doing each day. And this was written to be used really however you want to. You can use it like in a Sunday school group, you can use it at home with your kids. Honestly, you can use it however you want. So, but it starts off with, there's a part for you to read before the lesson, and then there is a section called The Big Picture, and so you kind of like preload the kids with the knowledge of the story's about, and then you actually will read the story from your story Bible. You could also read it just from the Bible directly. They also have videos you can watch. We have not done that yet. We've just been reading the text. It's only typically 4, maybe 6 pages. They're really simple, easy reads. And then you teach the story. And so you basically like dissect the story, and you just read from this book directly. And then every time they do the gospel connection. So they're pointing that to Jesus, and how this plays into the whole, you know, overarching story. And then there's questions that you ask them, and it even has answers for you to kind of like tell them. It's not like, you know, what color is the sky? Blue. It's just more in depth. It's more conversational as opposed to just being like question, answer, question, answer. And then there's a memory verse for each day, and we actually have these little cards, the little verse cards. They're like playing card size, and we go over that each day. One area that I am not very good at is working on memory work, and so I write them in the boys' planners. Sorry, I paused to see if I had the boys' planner. I do. I will show that at the end. But that's in their planner too, so as I'm reading it, they can read it along with me. And then they have activities and crafts that you can do. They have them split into K through 2, and then 3rd through 5th for both the activities and the crafts. We have not done any of the crafts. The activities we will do sometimes. It depends on what it is. But yeah, that's how we start our morning. Typically, I have my breakfast first. They get up, and while I'm making their breakfast, they go through their planner and kind of see what they have going on for the day. They do their Bible reading as well. That's just on their own. And then while they're eating, I start doing this. So we read this, and then and we just do one of those each day. So 4 days a week, one of those. And then we pray together as a family. And if they're still eating, we'll go ahead and go into the reading part. If not, they get dressed, do their morning jobs, and then they go outside for a little bit. And while they're outside, I try to clean up, pick up. I might go for a walk. We've started trying to focus on walking, building up to running. And so they have been walking with me a little bit too. So we can build up those muscles, because we got lazy this summer when it's hot. So that's what we're doing with the boys. So anyway, after that, you know, the next thing we do is our reading, which is our spine that I was talking about earlier, which is the Wizard of Oz series. And then we also we do Little Pilgrim's Progress, which is based off of Pilgrim's Progress, but it's written in a more kid form. So I tend to read Pilgrim's Progress next because it's cutesy and I love it. There you go. It's precious. The illustrations are just gorgeous. Like here. And the sections are really, really short. In fact, I just read one a day, 3 days a week, because I was trying to get it to spread out throughout the majority of the year. And every time that I finish reading for the day, the boys are like, no, we want to read more. And so super cute. If you don't want to use it for your school, you just want to have it for your family to read, precious, do it. Love it. It's so good. So we read the one little section from that, and then we go into our, whatever our book is from the Wizard of Oz series. We are attempting to read all the Wizard of Oz's this year. And so like I said, we've already finished the first one. It's right back here. I have a bin back here that I store all my stuff in so I don't get confused. But so here you go. Oh, apparently I lost a sticker too. Put that back in my deal in a minute. Anyway, Wizard of Oz. This is the annotated version. This is the only version our library had for some reason. They used to have the other, but this is all they had. And I actually I really like this because it breaks down more of the history. If you're not familiar with the Wizard of Oz, it is considered America's like first fairy tale, and which makes sense if you read it. It is not, it's similar to the movie, but also not. The boys, when we watched the movie, they were like, what is this? Like, where is this? And it was quite funny. But this kind of breaks it down for you in the margins and stuff. And so it gave us some good talking points as we listened to this. I love reading to my kids, but sometimes there are things I gotta do, like putting dishes away or whatever it is. And so I'm a big fan of getting the audio from the library of the books we're reading. Sometimes I'll get them off of our Spotify if I have to. And then the boys will just follow along with the book as it's reading it aloud to them. And then they can see the pictures and stuff, because illustrations are precious. And we actually, on our way to Michigan this summer, we stopped in Holland, Michigan, where you can see the statues of these characters at their library. That's where the author L. Frank Baum, that's where he wrote at least the beginning of Wizard of Oz. So I don't know if he wrote the entire series there, but he did write the first one. So you know, we read this, it's 3 chapters a day. Now we are on the Marvelous Land of Oz, and what we do is we read 3 chapters a day, 1 chapter at a time. We'll pause after each chapter because what they do is I give them a piece of paper, and they illustrate a drawing from the chapter, and then they write a summary of the chapter. And so for right now, this is still new for them. My boys have never summarized on their own, so we're doing it very dependently on me and our discussions, and throughout the year we will slowly make it more independent. So what they're doing, so here you go, this is one of theirs, but you open this up and there's a summary of that chapter. And so like I was saying, we read a chapter, we pause, we discuss what happened, and then we kind of summarize as best we can what happened. And then I'll either write it down or type it on my phone, and then we'll play the next one, do the same thing, play the third one, summarize it, and then I have a document for them to copy basically, and they copy it on this paper, and they fold it up into a little matchbook, and then we make, each time we read, they make a new matchbook. And when we finish, like we'll finish book 2 this week, they will put together another file folder of what they read. And so here you go. This is from their first one. This is the back. Compare and contrast. They compared the book to the movie. And then there's all their little matchbooks from what they read. And then they picked their favorite character, and they had to tell me why it was their favorite. Their rating of the book is right here, and on the inside they tell me why they gave that rating. And then this I used as a review of the story. I'm taking grades this year. Like something like this, it's a little bit more ambiguous, but like on this, I had them tell me the title, character, setting, problem, solution. This was all of their own doing, and so this was a grade just to see if they were paying attention, if they're following directions, that kind of a thing. And then yeah, when they're done, they have these cute little file folders. So we've only done the one so far, so that's that. And when we finish them, if it has a movie, we will watch it. I don't believe Marvelous Land of Oz has one. The next book is called Return to Oz. I think that's the next one. I have found that it has a movie that apparently is nightmare fuel, so we'll see if we watch that or not. But it's on the list to watch as of right now. And whenever we watched it, oh, hi, ma'am. This is Nomi. This is Nomi. When we watched that movie, in the book, they like there's like celebration that happens, and like they have candy and popcorn and all this different stuff, and so I made us popcorn and I dyed it greenish, and I went to a local candy shop and I got a bunch of candies that were prevalent in the early 1900s, like saltwater taffy, rock candy, candy corn. The boys did not like candy corn. So anyway, a bunch of just random things. Most of them the boys did not like, which was kind of a funny thing to talk about, how like our tastes have changed now that we can, you know, enjoy straight up sugar. Anyway, so when we do those little viewing parties, it's real chill, real laid back. We also had some games that were gifted to us, and so we've been playing those games, especially now that we finished that first story. Yeah, that was a lot of information for one silly thing. So anyway, we're reading through those books, and we'll just keep reading them as the year goes on. As we finish them, we will work on those little file folders, and then we will go into the next book. So that's literally all that is. Okay. Next we do handwriting. And handwriting it's more independent. I do look over it. I make sure they're not like just rushing through it. I'm a big proponent of Denilion. If you are not familiar with this, this is the only way you should be writing. I'm just saying. No, this is how I learned, both in elementary and whenever I was in like school to learn how to be an educator. This is how it was encouraged to do it, and I just like it. It's a very simple transition from manuscript to cursive, which the boys are doing cursive now, and yeah. So there you go. I am a handwriting snob, and that's okay if you're not. I'm sure it doesn't matter, but to me it does matter. So they do the Denilion, and this software, if you buy this, I got it from, I think, Rainbow Resources maybe, but when you purchase this, you also get an online account, and you can like make worksheets and stuff. It didn't seem very user-friendly when I was trying it out the other day, but there is a teacher guide on there as well. I could do more with it. I really just want them practicing. So it's makes maybe 5-10 minutes. It's not a big deal. So handwriting. And then 2 times a week we do typing. One kid will do typing one day, and then the following day the other kid will do it. I'm using typing.com. It is free. So far we like it. I have friends that wish it had more, but like we just started. So for us right now it's perfect. But how our week goes is day 1, we will review our vocabulary words. I'll show you all here that in a second. And then on day 2, one of them will do typing while the other one does vocabulary. Day 3, they flop. The one that did typing on day 2 will now do this, and the other child will do typing. And then on Thursday, they'll do an activity from here. And then every other week, there's a test that they have with this. So this is called Wordly Wise. It was relatively inexpensive. It's just straight up vocabulary. So let me give you an example here. We do it over 2 weeks. And so you have a word list. So this one is contain, digest, finicky, habit, hinge, marsh, nursery, rely, spine, and thrive. And it gives them definitions, it gives them illustrations sometimes. And then what they're doing throughout the week, oh, I'm so sorry, madam. I bumped the cat, she didn't like it. There are 5 activities per week. They do not stay the same, they change around. And so they'll do A and B one day. They'll do C and D one day. And the following week they'll do E, because E is a passage they read, and there's questions about the passage. And we are working on answering these questions in a complete sentence. So it does take them a little bit longer than just writing out the answer, you know. I do grade these. On Friday we have a test. Sorry, nope, no we don't. The second week on that final day, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is, day 4, we have a test. And what I did was I took a rubber band and we just put their tests, see if I can find it easily. I put their test in here afterwards so we can keep track of all their tests throughout the year. It's something silly, it's just what I did. They do sell a test booklet that you can use. I didn't want to do that, and so I just took one that I bought and I scanned them all on my computer and printed them off again. I said this before in another video, I like things being super small. It's an old habit from when I taught in the classroom. Kids like things itty bitty and they would fit in their journals better. So I made them smaller, and then print them kind of like a folding type of a thing. I don't want to show off his like grade or anything, but it's so there you go. It's 2 sheets of paper. You print them down to a page, and then you can fold it in half, and that's a little booklet. So those are going here, and I do take actual grades on them, and they do have averages. And the end of this term, we'll see what their averages are. They get the report card. I'll give y'all a sneak peek of the report card, maybe, if I can find it. Yes, here it is. Oh, here you go. Here's an example of the test. There you go. So I just printed it off, 2 to a page. That's the back side, and so I'll fold it and give it to them tomorrow or whenever we do our test, and it'll go like that in their book whenever we're done grading it. Here are those little matchbooks I was telling you about. I just throw them in this folder, and it's just labeled this week, and we'll put their file folders together once they're all done. But sneak peek, the little report card, and that's the inside. So, if you were interested in a video just about this in itself, I can definitely do that. I'm a nerd, y'all, and I totally geek out over all of this stuff. So yeah, folders on my friend. I put everything in a folder for that week, and it just makes it easier to find things as I need it. Okay, speaking of, I'll put it over there so I can put it back in a minute. All right, so we went over Bible, reading, handwriting, typing, vocabulary. Like I said, math, we typically go over to the carpet just to give them a change of scenery. We are using, again, Math with Confidence. Love this curriculum. It is my favorite thing that we do, I think. I love all of it, but this is the one thing that I don't have to worry about like doing anything for. We just open it up and go, and I love that. Let me see if I can find the boys, but the lessons take maybe 15 minutes. The pages are very colorful, but not too colorful. Like it's just simple. And so what you do is you review things you've already talked about in the past. And a lot of it could be just like, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. What kind of numbers are those? And they say odd. You could ask them times tables. Like right now we're doing times 2. We've done times 0, 1, and 2. So, and times 10. And so I'll ask them those. And it tells you exactly what to do in the book. And then you introduce a topic, and you will do that together. And you'll just go over whatever it is. Sometimes you have manipulatives, like maybe like place value blocks, or maybe you need to draw. I have, where is it at? Here it is. I took a menu and I printed off a bunch of this curriculum comes with things that you can print off to use again and again. So like for example, the addition and subtraction algorithm. The boys don't really need this, but in case they are getting stuck, I'll pull it out and we'll go through the flow chart. This place value is not the best because it has it top and bottom. I might change that out later. And then like a dot array. And then we have multiplication strategies for later. And then there's a game on the back. We haven't used this yet, but this is a good segue into saying that whenever you're like doing your lesson, a lot of times she has a game that you play with it, and they're really simple games. Like you might need a deck of cards, or sometimes you'll take a piece of paper and write numbers on it, and they'll bunch them up, and then they have like snowball fights, and they grab their papers and they use it to answer questions. They're really simple. The boys love them. Like every time we do the game, they ask to play it again. And I'm like, okay, whenever y'all get done with the lesson, then maybe we play it again. But we'll do that like together portion, and then they have independent work, and they will do that. In the past, like first, sorry, Nomi, my legs are falling asleep. In the past, they would just have like the one page that was us going over it together, and then they had an independent page. Now that we're in 3rd grade, they have the page we do together, and then there's typically at least 2 pages, sometimes 3. And those are all, it could be what we learned about that day, it could be review from past lessons, but it's all very succinct, and it doesn't take them very long to do it at all. Again, I've started grading those, and then we go over if there's like misunderstanding, we will go over it, and the boys love it. So it's a good one. Check it out. I think she only has it through 5th grade. I believe she's going up till 6th grade. I don't remember. It's been a while, but she used to teach in the classroom, and so she bases it off of like the standards from whenever she taught, and everything sequences together. She's got the scope and sequence. Like it's just really good. Like my nerdy teacher self loves it. It's great. Okay. And then science, social studies, and our fine arts. And then independent reading. I'll just quickly do independent reading. I did make another video about this, but if you're interested in that, I'll try to link it maybe, or I'll link it below. I don't know what I'm doing. But they have a book that they read independently, and it's honestly just whenever they have time during the day. I try to encourage them to remember to get other work done before they do independent reading. But then once they do have that time, they can sit down and read. These are their current books that they're reading right now. One kid will read one book, okay, and then after 2 weeks, they'll finish them and they flip. There's no flopping. They flip. And they have these journals, and they basically will answer a question that I have for them for that day's reading. It's assigned. It'll say chapter 1 today or 2. Like, for example, here you go. This one I had to fix because I messed up. But it tells you chapters 1 through 3, and the next day 4 through 6. And they check them off as they go. And this is informal. It's more just for me to see if they're understanding what they're reading. And then once they finish the book, I have them create a brochure that goes over the like setting, characters, did you like it, like that kind of thing, and that is given a grade as well. And it's actually worth 2 grades, so it's a big deal, and we go over it together and make sure that they're understanding and stuff. Okay, science. So I forgot to grab them. They're over here. I'm not pulling them out because they're buried. One of my good friends gifted us several of Magic School Bus science kits, and I had decided early on that we were going to use Magic School Bus to teach us science, which I know that is from my childhood, and science is always changing, so the information may have to be updated through a conversation that we have, but regardless, Miss Frizzle is going to be teaching us this year in science. She hasn't joined us yet. In fact, the boys don't really know that yet. They will be finding out this week. And then my sister actually drew little characters of us that look similar to the stylings of the original Magic School Bus kids. And I have fun things planned for that too. But anyway, science is going to be I took the 3rd grade objectives and things, like teaching objectives from Texas. That's where I taught before. And I went through those, picked out what we wanted to do, and I'm planning it. So I'm doing it a term at a time because otherwise it's overwhelming to me. And so this first term has just been introduction to science. We've done science in the past, but not like, it's been more like nature study and like, books and, playing outside. Like, it hasn't really just been like, I don't know if I'm even making sense, but we're going to do like more experiments and just different things like that. So what we've been doing, ow, she's hurt my leg. So what we've been doing is going over like, what is a scientist? I'm a scientist. What are things that scientists do? What are names of scientists? And then we've also been meeting scientists, like researching scientists. So we start off the year, we made our rules. So yeah, Magic School Bus there. We made those. We talked about them, and I typed up on my phone, and then I just print them on the computer. So literally just a simple discussion, type it, print it, put it in the journal. We did I am a scientist. So they drew a picture of themselves and then wrote down different things that they do, that scientists do. And then we read a few books about different types of scientists, and we made a little chart with different types of scientists as well as what they study. And then we talked about the scientific method. I got this off of Teachers Pay Teachers. And then that was week 1. Week 2, we decided to research 4 different scientists. The first 3 were of my choosing. The 4th was my boy's choosing. My cat is tearing up something. And anyway, we read books. We call them the big head books. I don't know what they're actually called, but like, who was Thomas Edison? Who was Isaac Newton? Those kind of books. They're pretty quick reading. We would normally read them throughout the day. And they do a really great overview of the person's life from like childhood to, the end of their life. And then what we've done is we made these little picture frames. So this will actually sit up, and it's got a little tail there. So it'll sit up. The idea was to set these up on our table and then like tape them at the end of the week. Then our cat started eating them, and so they had to go in right away. But anyway, so they make these little guys. This obviously I printed. They decorate the frame, and then they write a summary of that scientist. So the name's up there, there's a summary. This was a file that I found on Teachers Pay Teachers. I didn't want to pay for it, and so I just made it myself. But since then I've bought things, so I'm just odd. I don't know. I just am. So anyway, we researched Isaac Newton. We researched Thomas Edison. And then we also did Alexander Graham Bell. And then they each chose their own scientist and did their own research and did their own project. And so like Liam here, he did Albert Einstein, and then Connor did Jane Goodall. And all these things I take a grade on. Science is pretty, you know, 95, 100, like, it's more so just that you following directions. It's not a whole lot of, it's not like knowledge based yet. It's more of just like, are you paying attention? Are you following directions? And we talked about what tools scientists use. And we did like, this is week 3. We have a whole box over here of things that I got, like beakers, magnets, pipettes, this bunch of random stuff. And they got to, for a day, they got to like play with them and interact with them. I did that with my first graders and my third graders, and it kind of just helps get like the novelty out of it. Like they've already got their playing out of it, and so whenever you go to use it later, it's not so much of a hassle. But anyway, we did that, and then we reviewed what things were, and then we made this little cute little lab coat pocket thing. These are all cutesy things. I taught first grade for a long time, so I can't get away from it. I can't get away from it. And then this week we've been actually talking about doing actual experiments with our tools. And so on Monday, so yesterday, with this little experiment where you take coins and you drop water on them and you count how many drops fill the surface area of the coin. We talked about how, you know, scientists have to do tests over and over again, and how, you know, we did it 3 times and our answers were different, and why is that? Just kind of have those conversations. We also are going to be doing a cookie experiment. 1 second. I'm back. Cats, I tell you what, it's like, it's nighttime. Let's go crazy. And they do. Anyway, science, we're doing experiments. We're going to be doing one with cookies. It's called the Great Cookie Dunk. And you take different cookies, you hypothesize, will it sink or flow, and we'll have that conversation. And then we'll meet Miss Frizzle. And then I'm gonna try this out this term, but I took their journals and I made a test out of their journal, and they'll be able to use their journal on the test. And the whole point, it might seem like it's overkill, but I'm just trying to teach them I'm teaching them skills. Like, use your resources that you made and help you find the answers. I'm hoping that it just translates as they get older. I'm not a big proponent of like teaching to a test or like any of that kind of stuff, but I do want them just to have those skills. So yeah, my boys, they are taking tests. We will be doing some sort of standardized testing. I think we're gonna do the CLT in the spring, just so they're familiar with it. You know, regardless of what lane they choose as they get older, there's always gonna be some sort of test, whether it's gonna be like in college or if it's gonna be, you know, to be a welder or whatever it is. Like, there's gotta be something. So we're just gonna do it. It's not gonna hurt them. So anyway, it's science test, and I just made this myself. I literally just went through their journal. What are the 6 steps of the scientific method? And they write them out. There's 5 tools that scientists use. Complete the science rules and guidelines with the missing words. And so they find that in there. 3 types of scientists and what they study. Match the scientists to the years they were living and the contribution that they made. Tell me 1 to 3 things about the scientists that you studied. Be sure to include their name. In our coin experiment, How could we have gotten a more accurate number in our cookie experiment? Which cookies floated? Who's going to be helping us study science this year? Are you a scientist? Why or why not? And the bonus, what are you looking forward to learning the most this year? So it's real simple, and we're going to be doing that. As far as in the future terms, I have a game plan written out as to what we're going to be doing, and you know, like some terms it'll be like physical science. It might be you know, magnetism or buoyancy, or could be ecosystems and life cycles. But my plan is to take my little skeleton notes that I made, which again are just based off of the standards from Texas 3rd grade science. And I'm going to try to pull from those activities my friend gave me, as well as just like the cartoon, and try to tie those in to actual lessons. We'll see how it goes. I will, if you're interested in that, as the year goes on, I can definitely share what it actually looks like. Right now, it doesn't look much of anything, but it will. It'll be great. Anyway, so that's science. Social studies, we are using America's History from the Tuttle Twins. We'll be doing Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1, we are using this first semester. Volume 2, the second. In hindsight, I think I would have liked to have done this one for the whole year, and then done the second one for next year. It's turning out to be a lot. It's manageable, but it's a lot. And when you buy this curriculum, they give you workbook pages, which are great. Some of them are just more advanced than my boys, or it's like really encompassing, like it's gonna take a long time. So we don't do all of those. What I've done is my goal with social studies this year was for them to have to, you know, understand the story, which you're not familiar with this. He writes it in like story form. So they're talking about, like right now they're talking about colonization of America and the Pilgrims coming over and that kind of stuff. And it's written very much of the whole premise is, you can't just say so-and-so was a good guy, so-and-so was a bad guy. There's too many, you know, variables in place. The whichever side of the world that you're on, your perception's gonna be different. They tell you, like, they try to present both sides of people. Like once we get to George Washington, that section really is interesting to me because like there were some really dirty things that he did. But you know, he's a father of our country and obviously someone that we admire and, you know, look up to and things. But he also had some shady things. I mean, he's human, or he was human. So anyway, I really enjoy this for that. But what I've done is I want them to know the people. Like my big thing this year is to know people, and then ultimately love people. Like I want them to be aware of what's around them and the people in general. And so knowing people from our history, I think will be helpful with that. That's why we're like we study scientists. We're gonna do more of that throughout the year. But we've been learning about different people in social studies as well, which I'll share their journal in a second. But I have it broken up. Each chapter we do 6 days of activities. So we'll read the chapter, and then there's a journal activity for day 1. Day 2, we do a map activity of some sort. It could be one that I have to make up. A lot of times it's just in those workbook pages that I mentioned. I just pull it from there. Day 3 is vocabulary. So we'll either just talk about words. Like one time it was a crossword and we talked about the words. Last time we had a list of words that we pulled out our dictionary and we used our dictionary skills that are still fresh and new to look up words. They weren't all in this dictionary because this is a children's dictionary, so we had to use old Google as well. But we looked up words, and then I gave them 2 or 3 words to look up on their own and then write the definition out. Day 4 is always a timeline activity. So I'll pick things from that chapter and we'll add them to our timeline, which this is also by School Nest, the same lady who I got my planner through. And what we do, I saw this, I want to say, I don't remember where I got it from. Erickson, something Erickson. I'm gonna draw a blank, but she also wrote, I think this is the same woman who wrote like Holy Huga. Is that what it's called? Anyway. Is it Joni Erickson? I'm sorry, y'all. I got it from somebody. If I remember who it is, I'll link it below. But she splits the page, so it's got a bar across the middle, which is like the years. And what she encouraged you to do is have different colors for different types of history. So like gray is general, if you can see this, general history. Red is Bible or church, blue is arts, and then green is science. I started with the intentions of doing that, and we've just been doing like just history. Maybe as I get older, we'll do it more like that. But so here you go. You can see there's the lines, different color lines. But we've just been doing it for history's sake. But what we'll do is I give them a little piece of paper, and they sketch whatever it is that we're talking about, and then they'll flip it over like that, and there's the year as well as what the picture is about. So like for example, these three, the first one here, 1932, Technicolor, oh my goodness, something to do with so something about colored movies becoming more common. We started this in first grade, so yeah. And then there's one over here about, this got put in upside down, where the Jews were incinerated. Big word, terrible time of our history. This one is Kristallnacht, Night of Broken Glass. Nazi leaders broke the glass and vandalized Jewish-owned businesses, synagogues, and homes. Anyway, so we'll pick things from our chapter and we'll add them to our timeline journal, notebook thingy. And we've had this for a couple years. We just keep adding to it. I have not been the best about it. I've just been trying to take it as it is, you know? So that's day 4. Day 5, we do something hands-on. It could be an experiment. It could be like a craft. It could be a lot of things. I get most of these ideas from the workbook. And then finally, day 6 is a game, and that's also typically from the workbook. So I just took what they gave me and kind of piecemealed my own thing from it. And then once we get to day 4, 5, and 6 is when we research someone, and then we create that same little thing I showed y'all earlier with the scientists. We create that, but with people from social studies. So like this is Liam's journal. We just added the other day the Mayflower Compact in here. But so what I'll do is I'll take those workbook pages that you get with Tuttle Twins. I print them off super tiny, like I said before. We tape them in, glue them in, and then we will do the activity, and they'll either reflect on it or they'll answer, the questions for the activity. Right now, we also have an experiment going on that we're going to be finishing up tomorrow. And so like right now, we just have the information page and the beginnings of our experiment drawn in here. We'll come back to it and finish it later. This was from last week. We made our own like Gutenberg printing press, and we did that. Here was one of the gentlemen that we studied. This is Christopher Columbus, if you can't tell. And so we did the same thing. We researched them, and then the boys wrote a summary about Christopher Columbus, who he was, what he did. At first I kind of just let them write whatever they wanted to. So now we're trying to flow into beginning, middle, and end of his life. This was hilarious. If you're like a Hobbit fan, you might get the reference here, but this is Liam's. He said, Christopher had what I call dragon sickness, when you crave treasure. That made me laugh so hard. So anyway, that's just, that's their own thing that they do. What else we got in here? I'm trying to find, we did, I was going to show you like the, here we go, the vocab one. So we printed off the page, we looked these up together, and then I gave them a few words to actually write themselves. So again, My goal is for them to know people. So all this is kind of just review of what we're going over in the actual reading. I did make a test for them over their journal as well that we're going to give. Again, just to practice those skills of looking things up and taking pride in what you're doing, like what you're working on, what you're keeping up with, so that you can easily find things later. At least that's the whole premise behind it. And we do talk about that. We talk a lot about why we're doing things. As a kid and as an adult, if something is, we're just doing it to do it, no, don't like it, don't like busy work. And so everything we do, it may seem like a lot, but there's like a reason behind it. So, okay. And then I think all I have left to show you is our fine arts. And, I'll show you the boys planners just for a second, but, for fine arts, eventually we will do piano. We're in the process of moving, kind of. We're waiting for our house to sell. And so once we get established in our new area, I'm going to try to get us into piano lessons. So that's the one thing. We do at least one drawing a week. And I just go on YouTube. There's this cute dad-kid combo channel that I like. You might know who I'm talking about right off the bat. But they do all these how to draw whatever videos. And so the first few weeks of school, we did a scarecrow, hopefully for obvious reasons. We did the Tin Woodman, did a lion. We've got Dorothy, a jack-o'-lantern, and then this week they're going to just do whatever one they want to do on their own. So this is more just for fun, but also trying to like follow directions and also improving just their drawing abilities themselves. And this is just a simple sketchbook that I got off of Amazon. And then we're also doing Latin. So this is what we use, Latina Cristiana. This is, I think, level, I don't know. It's for their boys' age. We did a different one, same company, but a different one last year. There's DVDs that you watch with it. This is the teacher guide. This is theirs. It's just 2 pages. And they go over vocab. They were talking about conjugating words. They'll review like forms of speech and like grammar type stuff. So anyway, this is probably our least favorite thing. But I do find that it is very easy to put into other things. Like they'll see a word like, oh yeah, that's what we talked about in science, or like, oh, that sounds just like whatever. And so they're beginning to understand how the Latin is what, we've based English off of in other languages. So anyway, we don't really enjoy this, but we do it, and I'm hoping one day we will, but we just do this. Because I think it's important. Planner. I did make a video going over what these planners look like on the inside. This is the boys' planner. They have a tab for their book list this week, and then they have contacts for when every Friday we write letters to friends and family. Yeah, so what they'll do, try to find one that's not, so I'll write in the front of them what their vocab words are in their Latin, and so in the morning when I'm getting breakfast ready, they'll review this, or they can also review it from their actual workbooks too. And then what we did, let's see, okay, this will work. As of right now, I fill in their planner and they check things off. Again, we're working on that building independence. And so, no ma'am. As the year goes on, I'll give them some things to write in until they're writing it themselves. Maybe not all of it, because like I said, I'm kind of just figuring this out as I go. But the way it's broken up is along this side are your subjects. This is the days of the week. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday have a column together. Down here is their chore area. I was telling you that I write the scriptures in here, so the scriptures are all written down here. Otherwise, it's just broken up into what we're doing every day. And so this looks a little different than my list, because this is just what they have to do. It's not what I have to do too. So as they complete it, they check it off. And there is a section that I leave blank where they put in their Bible reading for that morning. And the top section is like important things for our family. So like this week was my husband's 40th birthday, and so that's in here. He was out of town for a couple of days, so that's in here. The meteor shower was one of these days, so that was written in there, and we got up super early to watch the meteor shower. And then if we had an event on Saturday, so that was written in here. And then I also use our little picture printer thingy that I have, and we'll add stickers, pictures. We might put washi tape in here. It's more just like a fun thing for them as well. So I think that's it. I feel like I'm missing something, but maybe not. Storage wise, I have a big purple bin back there. I have everything in those folders like I showed you. And I just, as I print things for that week, I'll slide it in that week's folder and grab it out. Like, that's how I keep my sanity. It has a lid on it, so cats can't get into it. And then beside it, I have a basket. Right there's the basket. And that's where I keep all of my read aloud type stuff that I can just grab quickly. Again, we are in the process of maybe moving, so I'm trying to make it, it's not cutesy, it's not Pinterest worthy, it's just life. That's how it is. And then the boys have these bins that they store their stuff in. They're too small. The stuff literally has them doing this by the time they're done. I will get new storage whenever we move. It's fine. So yeah, that's everything. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully that you gained something from that. Hopefully you were able to stay awake through all that. That was a lot of information. So again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're interested in seeing what we did for second, first, and kinder, I can also share about those as well. Those years, I think kindergarten I already have up somewhere, and if so, I can point you that direction. But anyway, thank you so much. I'll see y'all later. Bye.